faith at all working on a cell phone.
Or a laptop or anything. I just wouldn't.
And that's why they put a new one out every 6 months.
Like I was saying there last transmission.
Everything's a throwaway model. Why bother to fix it, pay someone to fix it?
Just buy another.
Just too many paths going through the circuitry. But, hey, more power to you, brother.
If you can do it, go for it, but
I don't see much of a future for it, but
hey, who am I? I'm just Kevin.
And I'm going to get out of here. So I'll hand it over to you, Don. You guys pick it up,
and I'm going to shut all this off, get a little something to eat, go to bed, and
that's the end of my broadcast day. So, and for, K4KYV from KFAKB.
Yeah, KFAKB and the crew. This is K4KYV. Okay, Kevin, very good. Well, I guess I have the real knack for jumping into a QSO just when the others are signing out. That seems like that happens all the time, but anyway, we'll catch you another time. I don't have to. I'm retired now, so I don't have to pay attention to any clocks or alarm clocks or anything like that. So I tend to. I just stay up and do what I want to do till I get sleepy. And then when I get sleepy, I go to bed. And I usually seem like I tend to get sleepy a lot later than most people, because sometimes I get on here and say, well, I'm going to get on and see what's on the radio, and the band's in good shape, but nobody's on the air to talk to. That seems to be a fairly common occurrence. But anyway, Kevin, we'll catch you later. And as far as the cell phone and the computer repair, I just tell you of an experience that I had. My main computer is still my old desktop, and it still has Windows 7 on it. I never did upgrade to Windows 10. I've just stayed with Windows 7. I think I have a pretty good, antivirus and malware protection on it, so I just didn't see the reason to go through all the hassle of changing out the operating system, and all the tweaking you'd have to do and all that. I just said, well, I'm just going to keep on using this old Windows 7 machine as long as I can. But I have, kind of as a backup, I bought a new laptop, which, was a fairly high-end laptop that has Windows 10 on it. I've had the thing for about a year now, and I haven't really used it all that much. Probably, well, if I try to count the number of times, I probably haven't even turned the thing on and used it. Maybe a few dozen times. I still do most of my work with the old Windows 7 desktop computer. I like a desktop computer a lot better than a laptop or, what do you call them, the tablets or a cell phone and all that. I prefer to have a full-sized keyboard and a real screen to look at, and a mouse to boot. I like that better than the finger pad on a laptop or a touch screen and all that junk. But anyway, the point I was getting at, though, is I got this laptop, and it has that little finger pad on it, and when I fired the thing up, I found I couldn't right-click on anything. It would only left-click. But I do have a USB a mouse, and I plugged in the USB mouse, and the USB mouse worked fine. But the finger pad, I just couldn't get it to respond. It wouldn't right-click. So I did everything that I could figure out, and so I just figured, well, it must be something wrong with that little mouse pad, because I had just had, it had just arrived, and I had just got it up and running. So it was still under warranty. So I called the company and told, explained the problem with them, and they said, well, box it up and send it back. And it was a Dell computer, so I boxed it up and shipped it back to Texas. In fact, they even sent me a box to put it in. So all I had to do was put it in the box and drop it in UPS or FedEx or whichever one it was, and it went off to the. Well, actually, before I did that, they sent a local technician out to check it. The local technician looked at it, and he couldn't make the finger pad, that finger pad right click either. So he said, well, it must be the finger pad, because he looked at his spare parts and he didn't have a replacement. He said, well, just so he said, well, I did what I can do, and you send it back to the company. So that's what that was the when we got the shipping box, sent it back to the Dell computer center in Texas. Well, and it didn't tell you the turnaround time was good. I think it was only like about 5 days later. It came back, and it was. And they claimed they had fixed it, so I fired it up, and the thing still wouldn't right click. The technician couldn't fix it, and then the service department in Texas also they claimed they fixed it, but it still, when I got it back, it wouldn't right click. And I was kind of at wit's end on that, but I was working the thing some more. I looked into it, and then I just happened to notice that I forget what I'd opened up. One of the settings. I forget which setting I was. What settings page I'd opened up, and there was there was a setting where you would tick the box, and it would activate the right click, and if that box was unticked, it wouldn't work on the right click, and mine was unticked. So I ticked it, and the X mark showed up in the box, and sure enough, the thing would work normally. And then I realized, well, that's all that was wrong with it. There was nothing wrong with it to start with. But I had never worked with Windows 10 before, because I don't think Windows 7 has that on, because I have a Windows 7 laptop too, and I don't think my Windows 7 laptop has a setting where you have to go in to tell the finger pad to whether it would work on right click or not. But that was a feature on Windows 10 that I wasn't familiar with, so I didn't find it. And the technician that came out, the factory, was a contract technician for the factory, and he came out and looked at it, and he couldn't figure it out. In fact, he put a new finger pad in, and that didn't work any better. So that's when he said, well, I don't know what's wrong with it. I put in a new finger pad, it still won't work. So that's when he said, well, send it back to the company in Texas and let them work on it. Well, they did. I got it back, and what they claimed, they said, well, that the connector, that ribbon cable that connects the finger pad to the rest of the computers, said that just wasn't properly seated. Well, that may be where the technician that changed out the finger pad, maybe he didn't fully seat the ribbon cable. I don't know, but anyway, it turns out, all that was just a lot of extra trouble because, if I had known that it was that all I had to do was open up that settings and then tick the little box that says that the finger pad would right click, that would have taken care of it. But the technician, the contract technician for Dell couldn't figure it out, and evidently the factory in Texas couldn't figure it out. So I would say, well, everything came out, but the problem is that there's some of the other, one of the keyboard shortcuts that I use all the time. Well, when I got it back, that's another part of the story. Is when I got it back, it still did the same thing. So I contacted the customer service, and so what they suggested, they said, well, try reinstalling the operating system. And the way the computers, the way they're set up, they actually have a copy of the operating system. It's like on a separate partition in the hard drive. So I didn't have to get a CD. Well, the thing doesn't even have a CD player in it anyway, or thumb drive or anything with the operating system. They actually have a partition in the hard drive with the operating system there. So I was able to go into that, and so I reinstalled the operating system, and of course I had some problems there because some of the software that I had that came with the computer didn't work after I did that. So I had to contact customer support for a couple of the pieces of software that went with it, but got that straightened out. But there's a particular keyboard shortcut that doesn't work anymore, and I figured out how to fix that, but I just haven't bothered to do it because I haven't used the thing. So that was still a problem that hasn't been completely solved because I just haven't gone in, to see if I can correct that problem with the keyboard shortcut not working. But anyway, actually what it boils down to is that you had a simple problem. It was just a simple setting that wasn't set correctly, but the contract technician that the company sent out, they couldn't figure that out. They sent it back to the factory or at least the service center in Texas. They couldn't figure it out, and I finally figured it out myself after a lot of head scratching. But so what does that tell you about the customer support and the service from some of these computer companies, and I wouldn't even try to work on a cell phone. In fact, I've just got that the cell phones are mostly just one big IC chip, and then there's the screen and the battery, and not a whole lot else to it. So I wouldn't know what to do to try to fix the cell phone, and even the laptop, because that laptop is very thin, and when the guy was working on it, I watch very closely what he's doing, and it's a lot harder. It's going to be a lot more difficult and involved to fix, to do anything with that laptop. I have an old laptop that's about an inch thick, and you can take it apart and actually get in and work on it. But the new laptop, they've got everything where it's almost paper thin, and I don't know if I could do much with that or not. But anyway, that's my take on some of the, as far as the repairability of a modern day laptop. So anyway, let me pass it on around. I guess it goes back to you, Jim. And by the way, I'm hearing Eric. Eric, I'm hearing you pretty well. Your patch is making it down here. I miss words here and there, but I'm getting most of it. And of course, Jim, you're coming in just fine. And of course, Kevin was coming in solid copy. So anyway, go ahead. I think it's your turn, Jim. So KM4XG and the crew, this is K4KYV.
Talking to you, but I've heard you quite a bit